From the very first time that I heard,
It's football time in Tennessee.
I knew that sports would consume my life. I'm originally from Tennessee, but I grew up in Gator Country, a very hard thing to do. Despite that, my first and main love is the Tennessee Volunteers. Then, in 2023, I met a girl who worked for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I quickly fell in love with hockey. A Tampa Bay Lightning fan through and through. That same girl introduced me to women's basketball, and my life has never been the same. I even met Candace Parker. Then, in 2025, I got the opportunity to work for the Orlando Valkyries, a professional volleyball team. In my first season, they won the championship. Outside of my love for sports, I'm a dog mom, a college graduate, a sister, an aunt to many boys and a few girls, and a daughter. My love for sports led me to do this podcast, and I hope you guys will enjoy the journey just as much as I'm going to.
Hello and welcome to the Everything Sports Podcast with Tay. My name is Tay, and today we're joined by former FSU beach volleyball captain and current ESPN analyst and MLB broadcaster Madison Fitzpatrick. How are you today, Madison?
Hi, Tay. I am good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so excited to have you today. I'm hoping that technology works with us and everything goes well today. So I'm going to start out with a couple questions for you, and then we'll just kind of carry on a conversation and just see how it goes from there, okay?
Okay, sounds
Awesome. So the first question I have, and it's actually more of a question for myself, but also for people who are not really familiar with volleyball. You played beach volleyball. So for those unfamiliar with volleyball or still learning about volleyball like myself, does playing beach volleyball translate well skill-wise to volleyball on the court in an arena?
That is such a good question. So I played both my whole life,
Okay.
indoor and beach. And then when I got to college, I think in order to be the best you can be, you have to specialize because they are two totally different sports. To answer your question quickly, I do think that playing beach, like in the summer, if you're an indoor player, it's really good for cardio. It's really good for agility. It's good for quick twitch because there's only two of you back there. So I do think that it can transfer to on the court. But since they are two such different games, with beach, there's only two of you. With indoor, there's six.
Okay.
With indoor, it's more specialized, like an outside hitter or a middle, like you have your jobs. With beach, you kind of have to do all of it, which is more similar to an outside that I've played outside. So, but indoor is more like power. And beach is more finesse because the court's big. There's only two of you. So it's more of a finesse game. The rules are different. The passing is different. They're two very different sports. But I do think it's a good exercise for indoor players to play beach because it really gets you in shape. It is a very hard sport.
Okay, that's good to know because, I
Mhm.
don't think people realize like the difference between the two.
Mhm.
Like, if you don't watch too much volleyball, and so of course I do have a lot of people who tune in for like college football and things like that, and so like I want them to know like the aspects of volleyball that are there.
Yeah.
So captain of the FSU beach volleyball team for 4 years, was going pro ever an option, or did you always want to be in broadcasting?
Great question. Similarly to what I said about indoor versus beach, I
Mm-hmm.
knew that in order to be the best that I could be, I needed to do one. So I was either going to go all in pro beach volleyball. I had dreams of going to the Olympics when I was younger, or I was going to go all in broadcasting. And the way that I ended my beach volleyball career at FSU, it was the most beautiful little full circle, like tie it done. That was gorgeous. I feel happy with the way that like I'm finishing my career. And then I decided to go all in with broadcasting and get a jump start on that. Because with broadcasting, it's like you need reps, you need to hit the ground running because it's such a
Yeah.
competitive industry. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to go all in with broadcasting because I was satisfied with the way my career ended in beach.
Okay. So this question's a little long, but you started your broadcasting career as an ACC sideline reporter, which makes sense coming from FSU and the university being in the ACC. It
Mhm.
makes total logical sense. So it seems like a good first step out of FSU. Then you went to Little Rock, Arkansas to work for Fox 16 as a weekend sports anchor. Now you're currently an ESPN analyst and MLB host and broadcaster. Out of the jobs I listed, or even maybe one I don't have listed that maybe is not on your LinkedIn, which one has been your favorite so far and why?
Oh, great question. Honestly, as a kid, like working for ESPN has always been the
Yeah.
goal. It's the creme de la creme. So being an ESPN analyst with volleyball and then I just got football recently, so sideline, and then they gave me some hosting opportunities this past season. So being like a Swiss Army knife kind of in a way for
Yeah.
ESPN has been just the greatest gift I could ever imagine. And of course, working for MLV is also such an honor because it's so historic and I love the coaches and it's such an amazing league. But I would say like getting my big break with ESPN, that was always the goal. And so it feels like I'm living a dream, the fact that I get to do work it.
No, other than the fact that you get to do both too. I mean, that's got to be like an
Yeah,
ultimate dream because it's like you get to stay with your roots of volleyball, but also expand and do other sports. So that's
exactly.
actually kind of leads into my next question. I said, well, my next question is, while you normally cover volleyball, this past season you got to experience something new while covering a few college football games. Tell us how that switch came about and what your favorite part of those experiences was.
Yeah, I've been very forthright with my goals ever since getting to ESPN. I
Hmm.
believe like if you speak it into existence, if you manifest it, you're going to get there eventually as long as you work
Yeah.
really hard and no one outworks you. So I was always very honest about wanting to do football whenever I got to ESPN. So I did 2 years of volleyball and just kept plugging my name, like to the bosses. This is what I want to do. This is the track that I want to go on. If you can give me an opportunity, you won't regret it. So really it was just resilience and determination, not backing down and just continuing to push myself forward to the bosses. They gave me a chance. I worked the Georgia Austin P football game,
I
had some
saw you at that
technology
game.
problems. Yeah.
I watched it on TV and I said, hey, I know her.
Thanks.
I
Thanks.
told
That
my
was
mom,
my
I said,
first
that's my
one.
friend.
You're so sweet. Thank you. That was my first one. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, my big break. Well, I had some technology problems. My earpiece wasn't
Yep.
working very well. So I couldn't hear the play by play when he tossed down to me. And it was after that game, I was like, well, I screwed it up. Like, I'm not going to get another chance. That was it. But luckily, the people in charge understood the technology problems. They gave me 2 more chances with the Military Bowl and the D3
Yeah.
championships. And I felt so good about those and how much I learned from that first game. That adversity from the first game just made me better in the second game. So yeah, that was kind of the path with that. And what was the second part to that question?
What was your favorite part of the experience and why?
Favorite part of the experience was, I think the D3 championships
Yeah.
was so eye-opening because those kids they're not on scholarship.
Right.
So they're playing for the love of the game and they're not playing in front of a ton of people. They're not playing for like the bright lights and being on TV.
Yeah.
This was the first time these two teams have been on, I think it was on ESPN. So they were just playing for the love of the game. And I think we miss out on that a lot in college sports now, just with the
Yeah.
way that it's trending. So it was beautiful just to be reminded that some people do still play, not for money, not for fame, but because they love the sport so much.
I mean, it's not even college football. I mean, I went to a high school football game for the playoffs, and even some of those kids have like NIL deals and stuff. And so it's still, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Crazy.
crazy to think that like we're kind of losing out. So like D3 is like a good reminder of like what the sport is meant to be and
Mm,
what it has evolved from. I hope they don't lose that. Like for their sake, I hope they do kind of lose that because I do want those kids to have some of the same opportunities as like D2 and D1 kids who get those, scholarships or NIL deals or whatever. I think that it would be awesome if they could have that. But I also at the same time I'm kind of like don't because it's kind of the last part of college football that's not I don't want to say tainted, but tainted.
I
You know
was
what I
just going to
mean?
say tainted. I completely agree with that. And it's a nice reminder of why people still play. That's crazy about high school. I mean, it just
Yeah, it's
starts so young
wild.
and like, where's the ending point? Like, it's
Yeah, it's
just,
wild. I
there's no
got
parameters.
in our county we have kids, and I live over in Brevard County, but we have kids like transferring high schools because they want a better opportunity. And that wasn't a thing when we were in high school. Like when we were in high school, you played
No.
at the school that you were zoned for, or like if you were an out of area kid, like for example, like when I went to elementary school, I went to a different school. We live right next to an elementary school. I
Mhm.
went to a school probably 15 minutes away, still in the town, but 15 minutes away because my mom was a teacher there. But
Mhm.
then, like, when it came to high school, my mom was like, "The high school's right here. You're going to that high school. Like, it may not be the best high school, but it's right here. You're going." You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And now kids are like, their parents are driving them like an hour to a different school or something crazy like that. And I just think that's wild.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
I'm glad that D3 still has that like, untainted, enjoyable. They're doing it for the love of the game kind of thing. Because that used to be my
Mhm.
favorite part of college football. And one of the reasons I didn't watch NFL is because they weren't doing it for the love of the game. They were doing it for money.
Mhm.
Like that was my biggest excuse difference of like NFL and college, and now it's like, well, college is kind of just the same thing. So
That's so true. It's just as crazy money as the
Yeah,
NFL
it's
is. Never thought
wild.
we would be here. When I was in college and my last year was 2022, NIL had just started, so I
Yep.
got a free bracelet and a free bathing suit, and I'm like, whoa, like
That's
this
so
is
cool.
as cool as it gets.
And
And
now they
then
get like
just
millions of dollars, and
yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's wild.
exploded.
I don't know if you watched the first episode of the podcast, but I interviewed Charlotte, our game day ops manager.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlotte was an international student, so she went from like kind of the similar situation to you, where when she started college, NIL wasn't a thing, and then they were very careful to remind them, hey, you can't take a penny, you can't do this, you can't do that. And then
Yep,
NIL came around. Well, she was an international student. I don't know if you know this, but they can't take NIL money.
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I learned that. That was a fun thing to learn from her, is that like, the international students who come over are still playing for the love of the game,
Mm,
because, for them, there's no money in it. There's no, I mean, they get a scholarship, but like that was pretty normal back before college football was untainted by NIL anyways, was you got a
mhm.
scholarship. So like, I mean, it's still crazy to think like there's still some people who aren't benefiting from that while their teammates at the very same
Yeah,
level are. There's got to
that's
be
got to get
something that can be
fixed.
done about it. And she was saying like you can go back to your home country and sign your contract there and then technically get the NIL money, but you have to sign it in your home country or something like that. I'd have to go back and watch it to remember exactly, but it's like crazy. Like that's like $1,000 something dollars just for a plane ticket just to go home.
I mean,
You know what I mean? Like, and I know you're signing an NIL contract, so like it may not seem like that big of a deal, but it still seems kind of wild. Like if the NIL contract's not that lucrative, like you're spending, you know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
crazy to me.
that's crazy. I didn't know the extent of that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. You should go watch her episode when you have a chance. It's a really
Okay,
it's a really eye opening about that kind of stuff. We talk about it a little bit.
cool. I will.
So we're gonna move over to your personal life for a minute. You're engaged, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is your fiance's name, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, his name is Jacob.
Jacob. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I would love to meet Jacob at some point, so I hope he'll come to a
You
game or
will.
something. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Mhm.
Any fellow Tennessee fan is a friend of mine, so
He would
um,
feel the exact same way.
yeah,
You
that's
guys
that's
have a
just how it
bond.
is. Like that's just how Tennessee fans are. You could be a complete stranger. You're a Tennessee fan. You're my friend now. Like that's just
Yep.
it's the thing.
Yep.
So I have never met him, but I'm super excited about the family you're marrying into because they're volunteer fans, and you
Mhm.
yourself have become quite the Tennessee Vols football fan. It's been about 2 years now, you said. So I mean, you're still kind of new to it. You're still kind of learning the names and everything, and but you're also a sports person. So like you probably know the names more than somebody who's a new fan who's not been a sports person prior.
Mhm.
Because like how important it is to know the athletes and like you know what I mean, like get to know them outside
Yep.
of their sport and that kind of thing. And um, so I wanted to test your Tennessee football knowledge a little bit and see what your thoughts. Nothing crazy, I promise. It's stuff
Okay.
that we've already talked about, so you're good.
Okay.
Let's see what your thoughts are on a few things that have happened or are happening around and within Tennessee football right now. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so the first and foremost, who do you have a favorite player from last season or from Tennessee history in general that you've learned about, and why are they your favorite player?
Okay, so I will say, I am a sucker for a good story. I am a sucker for an underdog
Me too.
that has to work its way
Me
up. And then,
too.
yeah, right. So obviously, Joey Aguilar's story immediately.
Yeah.
I am his fan. Like his grandma in the stands crying.
I
Give it
know.
to me. Give it to me. Like playing at a JUCO. Took the long road to get to the top.
Almost quit football. Like
Almost quit football. Was going to be a firefighter. Got an opportunity.
And not only that, but he almost quit football and was going to be a firefighter. And that's like one of the most noble jobs you could pick. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he was going to quit football and go do something stupid. He was going to quit football and go be a firefighter. I feel like that's just like, he's such a humble and kind dude. And everybody who's met him, I have a friend that was on the podcast who's a Tennessee fan who met him. And he's literally the most humble player we've ever had in our history. Like, he's just the nicest guy. How can you not root for him, you know?
How can you not? Like that humility is so rare, especially playing it at Tennessee. That is just such a historic program that demands excellence. Like, I mean, we saw it with Nico Iamaleava, the head that kid got, how big his head was after being a starter. Like, we didn't get that with Joey Aguilar. So
No.
I do hope that he gets another year because
Okay.
I love the humility. I love it.
That was going to be my next question was, are you familiar with what's going on with Joey right now? The NCAA hearing, the request, and an extra year of eligibility, all that. Are you familiar with what's going on?
Yes, I am. And I think best case scenario, Aguilar gets another year instead
Okay.
of bringing in a 1-year quarterback or going with McIntyre or Faison Brandon.
Well, so the thing is technically we've already brought in a 1-year quarterback. And so I think there's a lot of people. I think you're actually in the minority in this. I'm with you. I think Joey should get another year. I loved him. I think that with, the new staff that's come in on the defensive side and the offensive side, I think that he has the opportunity to go in, have another great season, break Peyton Manning's record, because he was only a couple hundred yards short of breaking Peyton Manning's record this year, which is something that's not been done in a long time. So I think he could do it this year if he gets another season. I think that he's got some great weapons coming in on offense that would just take the cake. And I know we had Chris Brazzell last year, but there was a lot of drops by some of our other receivers.
Yep.
And I think that they have the opportunity to come in and have a better season too. And so I think he deserves another season, given the fact that he played in JUCO, and Diego Pavia set that precedent. And if you're going to do it for one player, and also I see other kids getting their eligibility approved, and Joey Aguilar, they're like, nah, maybe, I don't know, can't decide, kind of thing, So it's kind of wild to me that you're approving other people who are kind of in almost the exact same situation, but this guy comes in, and everybody think there's a little bit of bias against Tennessee by the NCAA. And it's been that way for a long time. I've been a fan my whole life, so I've experienced it with Heisman snubs and certain things like that, and just there's a lot of bias that goes into when you commit to Tennessee, you lose your 5th star if you're a 5-star. Things like that Tennessee fans will, you'll learn more about as you go through and you watch more, and I'm sure your fiance will talk about it, but a lot of hate from the NCAA towards Tennessee for whatever reason. And I think honestly, that's the only reason that's being held up, because Diego Pavia set a precedent, and by law, when there's a precedent, you have to at least hear him out and kind of consider it,
Yeah. I know Jacob would agree with you on all of this. This probably would fire him up.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can't really you can't just say no just because you don't like the school or whatever your reasoning is. You have to have a legal, valid reason. And I think they're going to have a hard time finding one, because he is in the exact same situation that Diego Pavia was, and he has the exact same circumstances. And I mean, give it to him. I think that it kind of sucks for Ryan Staub, who's the guy who came in from Colorado. I wanted to say California, but it's Colorado. Because I don't think he's going to come in and get to play any. Because if Joey gets another year, his backup is going to be George McIntyre. Because realistically, we're wanting George McIntyre, Faison Brandon to be our quarterback next year. Not next year, the year after, after this upcoming season that we have. Because I mean, it's 2026 already. So in the 2027 season, we want one of them to be our quarterbacks. So they're going to get that playing time. Ryan's not going to get that playing time, and so I kind of feel bad for him. He can't go anywhere. There's no more transfer portal windows. So if Joey gets that extra year of eligibility, I feel really, really kind of bad for Ryan. But it's they had to bring somebody in on the off chance that Joey doesn't get, because they needed somebody else to compete with GMAC in order to give him that opportunity to build confidence. And, so it should be interesting for sure. I'm excited for the upcoming football season. I think we have some really good players coming in, and we actually just signed a 2027 recruit for quarterback who everybody's really excited about.
Nice.
Who doesn't have a huge hype around him, but Heupel is really excited about him, and he's been going on and on about him. So I think that that's also a good thing, because that means that you have your next one up after Faison or GMAC. And I think that building that, they're ready and they're good to go, and they're, that's great, because for the past few years, if you look at it honestly, we've had to bring in a 1-year quarterback out of the transfer portal with Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker and, Joey Aguilar and we're now Ryan Staub, because we don't have somebody up and ready for the next. So if we can keep these guys and keep their NIL money flowing and keep their things that they're wanting and keep them happy, we could have succession like we used to with Peyton Manning and T. Martin and those kind of guys, So I think that it's an interesting situation we're in right now with, waiting to find out about Joey. If I remember correctly, the hearing is either today or tomorrow. Maybe the 13th, but I think it's today or tomorrow. And so we'll have to wait and see, and you and I will catch up about that after it's happened, I'm sure. But
yeah, absolutely.
I'm also on your train on the minority of wanting Joey to have another year, but it really is I'm on Vol Twitter. I don't know if you are on Twitter.
Yes.
You need to follow some of the Vol people, because it makes football season really interesting. If you're ever not sure who to follow, let me know. I'll give you some suggestions.
Voldemort, right?
Yes, that's one of them. Yes.
Yeah. Jacob's always on that.
There's also another guy. His name's Jason Williams. He goes by JW Sports 704, and he hosts a podcast called Spaceballs, and he hosts it on the X platform. They have a platform called Spaces on X that you can host a podcast on there. And
Cool.
once a week he does that. And now that college football season is over, he's covering college basketball and he's, that kind of thing. And his model of doing things, he and I become really good friends. I actually had him on the podcast a couple episodes ago.
Mhm.
But the way he does things is he brings people in from the opposing team. So like a reporter from the opposing team or a fan from the opposing team, and he sits down and he talks to them about the game overall, not just about Tennessee football, but like when we played Ole Miss, he brought in like a guy who has an Ole Miss podcast
Mhm.
and talked to him about like what to expect from his side of the ball, and then Jason talked about like what to expect from our side of the ball, and then they kind of talked about everything. And so it's a really interesting like dynamic of how he does things, because he doesn't just do Tennessee football. It's also like, what can we expect so that fans can be prepared for the other side of the ball? Because you can go
Love
into a
that.
game as a Tennessee fan and know nothing about the other team if you haven't done research. And so Jason is a really good way to once a week just go in there and listen, and he talks to like 2 or 3 different people from the other side and hears what they have to say, and it's just really cool. So that's another good one
Cool.
to follow if you and Jacob are not following him. JW Sports 704. I'll give him a shout out. He's a really decent human being. So I
Awesome.
just love him as a human, but also he does a really good job with his podcast. So
Yeah, that's great. I would definitely love to listen to that, because whenever I went to my first Tennessee football game, I was like, oh wow, this is legit. It's a checkered
oh
game
my goodness,
2
that's
years
the first
ago.
one you went to was Checker
Yes.
Neyland.
Yes, and they were
Wow.
playing Texas A&M,
Oh
and they
wow.
won, and I'm gonna say we, and because I grew up Florida State, so Florida State's we, now Tennessee is we, but we won, and it was just the loudest stadium I've ever been in my entire life. We were all the way up at the top because the tickets were expensive, but
Oh
it was
yeah.
kind of cool because you got to just like look down at the sea
Oh yeah.
of everything that was happening, and when the tea comes out, I mean, it's impossible not to be a fan.
Yeah,
Impossible.
it really is. The first game I went to was 2018. It was like 20, 30 degrees.
Mhm.
And we set up in the nosebleeds as well. Because there was 5. My dad and mom took all 5 of us. So there was the 3 kids and then mom and dad and all of us went.
Fun.
And we played Kentucky, and it was a thriller of a game. I've been back a couple times since then, but I've also been to a couple bowl games. I went to the bowl game, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, when they played Indiana and almost lost that game, and then came back and won.
Yeah,
I
fun.
was at the bowl game not last year, year before last, when Nico Iamaleava got his like first official start and shut out Iowa. That was a fun one.
Yep.
We had seats like right by the field, so that was really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's impossible once you go to a game to not be a fan. Like, even if you're a fan
I
of the
agree.
opposing team, there's like, for example, Oklahoma has come into the SEC, and Oklahoma fans and Tennessee fans have become like best friends because they came to our stadium and they're like, it's just such a cool atmosphere. Like, they'll
Mhm.
all talk about like, it's just such a cool atmosphere. You can't help but just enjoy it, even if you're the opposing team. So I mean, it's really cool, and it's kind of funny that you're an FSU fan because that's what you went to school for and grew up with that and everything, and that your fiance is a Tennessee fan, because I have a woman who's been like my big sister my entire life. She actually comes to all of our volleyball games. I'll have to introduce you at some point. Her and her
Yeah,
husband come.
please.
But she's been like my big sister my whole life. Her name's Robin. Robin grew up an FSU fan, like die hard. Always gave me
Okay.
shit that I was a Tennessee fan, and then
Yep.
she went and married a Tennessee fan, and now she
In the
reps
water.
Tennessee, and because you can't help
Mhm.
it. Like, once you're in, it's just like you can't help
Yeah.
but rep the orange. She has
I
so much
fought it.
Tennessee clothes. Yeah, she did too. She did
Yeah.
too, because she's a diehard FSU fan. She's like, I'm not
Mhm.
doing it. I'm not doing it. But she did. Like, they actually honeymooned in Tennessee and went to the
Oh,
same
that's
game that
funny.
we were at for my first game. Was
Yeah.
right after their wedding. We actually were supposed to go to the game the week before, but then they scheduled their wedding for that week, and I didn't want to miss it, and neither did my parents. And so we rescheduled, and we all ended up at the same game. They sat in like a totally different section, but we met up after the game and before the game, and it was just really cool to experience that with them. So I'll have to
Yes,
introduce
it's
you, because it's just
fun.
really funny that you guys are all, like, the similar in the teams wise of like,
Totally.
you fought it, and now you just kind of have accepted it.
I've accepted it, and I'm in. Florida State will always be my number one.
100%. Yeah, we
But
get
like
that.
Tennessee is right there because I mean, man, it's electric. The fan base is awesome. Knoxville's
Yeah.
a great place. I get it. And and orange has been my favorite color my whole life. So it was kind
Okay,
of
so you
fitting.
can't even be mad about it then, because
I'm
it's
not
not even
mad.
like there's some people who hate wearing orange because they think it looks bad on them,
Yeah.
But like, if orange has been your favorite color, then like, I mean, you
Whole
can't
life.
help it, you know?
Kismet.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Well, I just want to really quick also share with the audience. So we met because I am the mascot handler for the Orlando Valkyries, and you do their announcing, like the play-by-play announcing on the television side,
Mhm.
the broadcasting. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Broadcasting side of things, and so we actually met that way. And I tried to get you to come on the podcast last volleyball season, but you got so dang busy with ESPN and
I'm
everything.
sorry.
And so first game this season, I came up to you and I said, "Hey, just want to see if you're ready." And you were like, "I'm actually very slowed down. Let's do it." So I'm really
Yep.
excited to have you on. It's been a long time coming.
Yes. Thank you for
and
being patient and awesome.
yeah,
And
of
I just need you
course.
to in person, come grab me and be like, hey, I DM'd you. I don't check my DMs that much.
Well, I
It's
have your
bad.
phone
I
number
need
now,
to.
so I can
Yeah,
text you.
we're good.
So
Yeah.
we're good. But even so, even then, if you don't answer and I need something, I'll send you another text message. I don't mind. I'm that
Good.
person. Like if you're not answering, like
Good.
but it's just been really awesome to finally see it like come to fruition and get to have that conversation with you and do everything with you. And for those of you guys watching, we actually have 2 more Orlando Valkyrie people lined up. Nerys Pereira, I think is how you say her last name. I always mess up her last name, but I think that's how you say her last name. Nerys, I'm sorry if I'm wrong. But she is the MC for the Orlando Valkyries. She will be my next guest in March. And then Courtney Schwann, which is one of our players, has agreed to come on in April. So I've got quite the lineup of Orlando Valkyries, and I'm very excited about it. And because even though you're MLV, you're Orlando Valkyries to us. You're ours. We love you.
100%.
Yeah,
I
know
love
you're
the
not. I know you're not
Valkyries.
supposed to be. You're supposed to be non-biased and everything. But we love you and we claim you. So
Thank you.
yeah, of course.
I love the team. Amy Polly is amazing.
I
Obviously
know.
love the front office. I mean, it really does feel like a family. And like
It
with
really does.
ESPN,
Yeah.
you're traveling from location to location. You get a different producer, a different play-by-play every time pretty much. But like with this, everyone comes together. It's nice to have that kind of continuity, and it's
Yeah,
just a
for
great
sure.
place to work.
And everybody that we work with is just amazing. I've not had a single problem with a single person
Great.
like
Good.
this
Good.
season. I will say this season because last season I did run into some problems. But this season, the group that we have is like they made a lot of staff changes in the off season, and I feel like it's put together people who genuinely feel like it's a family, you know. And it never fails. Like I had something come up on Sunday that I was going to be late to the Sunday game, and I just texted my boss Charlotte, and Charlotte was like, "Okay, just as long as you're here, like there's no, they're always family first. Like take care of your
Nice.
business first, like that kind of thing." And it's just a good organization to work for too. I drive all the way from Brevard County. I mean, you drive all the way from Tallahassee. So I mean, if that doesn't say like something about like how good the organization is, I don't know what does. That we're willing to make that drive to do that, to be around those people, to work with those people, and to do that. So yeah, I love them, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's one of my 3 part-time jobs right now, but even when I've put in for a full-time job and I'm just going through the process, and even when I get that job, I'm going to stick with the Valks because it's just, even though it's a 45-minute drive, it's one of my favorite parts of my week when I have a game. So all the people I get to see and the people I get to work with. So, and of course I get to work
Yeah.
with Val. So how can you not love that? Like best
Yeah.
mascot in the league, right?
Agreed. What's the full-time job that you're looking at?
Admissions at our local college.
Nice. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so it'll be a good steady job. I lost my full-time job back in August since I've just been working part-time jobs. So I work 3 of them right now, and I just need
Good for
something
you.
more steady. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a long process because it's semi-government, and so like the hiring process has to go through like every level of leadership. So it's just a waiting game. So yeah, I'll update you as soon as I know if I have it or not. But
Good. I'm rooting for
yeah.
you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I do have one final question for you, and you can take your time answering it because we have probably about like 3 or 4 more minutes we got to cover. But my final question is, who is your all-time favorite athlete, and why?
Great question. Okay, so I would say my all-time favorite athlete is Misty May. Do you know who Misty May is?
I don't, but I'm going to go look her up when I am done with this.
Okay, so I
write it
I
down.
played indoor my whole life. And then Misty May, who's a 3-time gold medalist in the Olympics for beach volleyball. She's
Okay.
like the beach volleyball superstar of the world, her and Carrie Walsh. And my friend Holly McPeak is right up there as well. But anyway, so I went to a beach volleyball camp, my first ever, by Misty May.
Okay.
She was the coach, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I loved getting sandy. I loved throwing my body around. I loved how indoor I was a ball hog, and in beach you're allowed to be that because there's only 2 of you.
Right,
And
yeah.
she just, like, her love for the game was so infectious. Obviously I watched all of her Olympics, watched every single time. She won gold. I can recount the bathing suit she was wearing, if it was in the rain, each time. Like, I was just obsessed with her. And so she was the catalyst to start my beach volleyball career.
That's
So I got to
awesome.
go with Misty May trainer.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
like that. I'm going to go look her up when we get off of here. But
Yeah,
speaking of
everyone should.
Olympics, I am going to ask you one more question. Have you watched any of the Winter Olympics?
A little bit of the highlights. I've been
Okay.
working so much, but I love it. Like, I love the Olympics so
I do
much.
too.
So it's been on my to-do list just to, like, get back in it.
I'm really excited.
you?
I'm a big hockey fan, so like
Cool.
I'm really excited that men's hockey is back and that the NHL players are allowed to participate again because it's been
Mhm.
so long since that happened.
Yeah.
I got into hockey. I was dating a girl who worked for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and so I got into hockey because I literally would leave work on a Friday over here in Brevard County, drive across the state to Tampa at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'd hit rush hour traffic every single time.
Ugh.
And then I'd spend the whole weekend there, and I'd either drive back Monday morning or Sunday night. But I'd go to like 2 or 3 games while I was over there because she had to work the games on the weekend. And so I
Mhm.
taught myself hockey, and I got really big into hockey. Like, besides college football, hockey is my other like huge sport.
Awesome.
And so I'm really excited to see the men together because I don't know if you are familiar with the Four Nations face-off that happened last year. So Four Nations face-off was Switzerland, Finland, USA, and Canada, I believe. Not Switzerland, Sweden, Finland, USA, and Canada. And they pulled together teams from NHL teams, like based on where you're from, obviously, like if it's Canada or USA, whatever, just kind of like the Olympics. But they hosted it a couple games in Canada, a couple games in Boston, and a couple games somewhere else. I don't remember. But it was like a huge thing. And there was like lots of fights, and there was lots of
Fun.
Canada USA rivalry going on, and it ended up being Canada USA in like the championship game. And so that's what we're hoping for again, because we have some like unfinished business because USA ended up losing to Canada. And so
Mhm.
there's like unfinished business from the Four Nations face off that USA is like, they've got commercials out about it and everything. Like, we're going to Italy to get Canadian tears or something like that. Like, they're just really excited. So I'm excited that
Fun.
hockey is back. I've watched a little bit of everything else, like the curling I watched yesterday. I always find that to be
Mhm.
really interesting because I know that I could never do that. Like, that just takes severe
No.
athleticism that I don't think people realize like how athletic you have to be to do that, you know.
Mhm.
I was watching some like regular people trying to do it, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. Like, I'd be falling on my butt and
Yeah,
not, you know
yeah.
what I mean. So it was just really funny to watch those people. If you get a chance, go on YouTube. They did like a segment where they had regular people come try to do curling,
They
and
need
it
to do
was
that with
really,
every sport.
I
Like, they need to
100%
have a
agree.
regular person
I
Olympics.
100% agree. Well, like Kylie Kelsey and Jason Kelsey tried to do curling together, and Jason
that's
almost
funny.
fell on his butt, and it was the funniest thing. It's a YouTube
That's
short, so you'll have to
hilarious.
go find it. It was really funny.
Okay.
So I've watched a little bit of the Olympics, but I'm mostly hockey. Men's hockey starts today. Women's hockey for USA has been dominating everybody. 5 goals in
Nice.
every game, 4 games so far. Have beat every opponent in like the group round or whatever, the round robin or whatever.
Mhm.
So women's is on fire. I'm just hoping that men can come out and kind of do the same thing. So I'm really
Fun.
excited for hockey to be back, and it starts today, here in like 4 minutes.
Ooh,
Yeah, so
get on
USA
it.
doesn't play, I think, until Thursday or Friday, but you know, men's hockey starts today. And the Lightning, I'm a Lightning fan, and they have
Okay.
players on like 4 or 5 different teams. So it'll be
Nice.
interesting to see like I want to cheer for Team USA obviously, but like also I'm cheering for my guys, like, you know.
100%.
So
Yes.
I'm really excited about that. I love Olympics time. Me and my ex-fiance were supposed to go to the Paris Olympics. She ended up going by herself because I was unable to go, but she ended up going with her mom. But we had plans to go to the Paris
dream.
Olympics. Like, you know, it was so my dream is to go to a Winter Olympics someday.
Yeah.
Because like I prefer the winter sports over the summer sports. So
Okay, that's cool. I feel like that's unique. That might be a minority. I
it
don't
is a
know.
minority for sure. Most
Yeah.
people prefer the summer sports, but probably because they don't want to be cold. But like
Mhm.
I would just rather bundle up and enjoy like some hockey and some curling, and so even some figure skating I think would be cool to see. So,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
not like my thing, but I think it'd be fun to watch. So
Yeah. I love the Summer Olympics. One day, like, my goal is to be the sideline reporter for the beach volleyball
I
Summer
think
Olympics.
that's a great goal.
That would be my dream. I've got a bunch of them. That's one of them. That'd be
I've
so
tuned
much
in
fun.
one time for beach volleyball for the Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
You become the sideline reporter. I'll watch every single game
Deal.
just to support you.
Shake on it.
Yeah, there you go. Just to
Awesome.
support you, my friend, because
Thank
I'm all
you.
about it. I didn't want to watch that Georgia football game, but you told me that you were going to be the sideline reporter, and I was like, I got to watch it. So I sat and watched the whole Georgia football game just to wait to see how you did. And just
Austin
so
P
you
did
know,
good for a little bit until
if you go back and watch it, you can tell a little bit that you had comms errors, but you handled it so well and so
Thank you.
professionally.
Thank
I
you.
wanted to tell you that, like, you really couldn't notice. Do you know what I mean? Like, unless you knew what
Thank
you were
you.
looking for, like, you handled it so well, the malfunction, that I wouldn't have known that if you had not told me that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that makes me feel really, really good.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you
if you
so
haven't
much.
had a chance to watch it back, like, watch it back with that in mind and just, like,
Mhm.
kind of open-minded about it. It might make you feel a little bit better about the situation, so.
I like in my head, I'm like doomsday, doomsday, doomsday. But then I
Yeah,
guess
but you
when I'm
have to be
talking, it's
because, like,
not.
you don't know how you're gonna handle it, and you don't know what you're
Mhm.
gonna do, and when technology screws you over, like, I get that 100%, but really, like, you handled it so well, I wouldn't have known if you hadn't told me.
Thank you. Yeah, it honestly, and it just made me better for the next one and the next one. Like, I'm actually so happy that my football sideline career started like that,
Yeah,
because
I hope
now
you
I
get to do some
feel.
football this upcoming season too, so.
Me too. I'm hoping to be on a regular rotation. Fingers crossed. We will see. But I'm also volleyball doing that as well.
I
So
know, I
busy.
know. You gotta
Thank
try
you.
to get to a Tennessee game, though, as a sideline reporter. That'd be awesome.
My gosh, that's like the ultimate, one of the ultimate
Oh my
goals. Oh,
goodness,
that
your
national
fiancé would be like
championship.
that as the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, that's true. He
He
would
would
love
love
that.
that so much.
The whole family would come for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, 100%, 100%. If I could afford it, I'd be there too, just to support you, but
Expensive. I know.
it's so expensive, and he
Yeah,
keeps raising the prices, and
I
it's
know.
wild. But that's college football. You got to pay them their NIL money, and you got to do it somehow. So
Exactly.
it's insane. So,
Mhm.
anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and close this out. Do you have any questions for me to finish this up?
What made you want to start the podcast?
I spent all of last MLV season, and actually it was obviously like Pro Federation last season, but like all of last MLV season talking to Charlotte about like I really want to do a sports podcast. I don't know, not a lot of people know this about me, but I am undiagnosed on the spectrum. And I say undiagnosed because like my mom didn't really want to get me diagnosed because like it can change your life. There's a lot of people who like see that diagnosis on a piece of paper and they're like, no. But like I have a lot of the spectrum tendencies, so I could go get diagnosed if I wanted to, probably. It's very hard as an adult, but every person on the spectrum has their niche, and sports is mine. Now, I could tell you just about any fact about any college football player, any hockey player, even the volleyball players now. I'm starting to get so into that like there's a lot of things I could tell you about them too. And so it's just like that's my niche. And talking to people in like a not customer servicey way, but like this kind of way. Like, do you know what I mean by that? Like, it's also
Yeah,
my
I do.
niche. I also
Mhm.
really enjoy doing that. It takes a lot of energy out of me, so like I have to build up to it, which is why I'm moving it down to one a month instead of one every week because that was taking a lot out of me. But I really enjoy talking to people and getting to know their stories and like hearing about the underdogs and hearing about the things and hearing about all of it. And so putting that together, I spent all of last season talking to Charlotte about it, and I finally bit the bullet and had Charlotte as my first guest because
Mhm.
that was a deal we made that she said to me. She said, if you're going to do it, I want to be your first guest. And so we
Sweet.
did, and it's been going ever since. So
Awesome. I
yeah,
love it. Use your niche and what,
yeah.
like the skills that you have and your gifts, and run with it. I love it. That's great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I
Mhm.
appreciate that. Well, I want to say thank you. I don't have it on today, but Chris Summerall for my Everything Sports Podcast with Tay hat that I have. Always appreciate you for that. If you guys need any hats made, reach out to info@floridashatshack.com. Chris can help you out. He's a great guy. If you would subscribe to the YouTube or the Spotify, I would really appreciate it. And Madison, thank you again for coming on. I will see you on the 22nd of February for our next volleyball game.
Let's go, Valkyries.
Let's
Thank you
go,
so much.
Valks. All right.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, friend.
Bye.